Well, truce talks have failed, but will there be another round? Because the United States seems to be exploring a second round of in-person direct talks with Iran, even as the blockade now takes hold, signaling a dual track of strategy, pressure, and also diplomacy. President Trump's administration believes that Iran has been considerably weakened, and when it comes to the conflict, it is using this blockade now to leverage the push on Iran as a pressure tactic to get Iran on the talking table with more favorable terms. Now, sources indicate that fresh negotiations could be on the horizon, but Turkey now, or Turkey, seems to be now actively working to bridge the differences after a marathon 21-hour meeting last Saturday that happened in Islamabad, which failed to give any positive conclusion. Now, what was being said, this could be the wider and the more involvement of multiple regional mediators as well, because what has now been touted as far as when it comes to the countries that seems to be playing the role of a negotiator included that of Turkey and also of Pakistan, and somewhere down the line even Egypt. Now, when it comes to the situation there, because both sides, when J.D. Vance was departing and when the Iranian delegation were departing, they, however, did not show any indication of holding another round of talks together. But will that happen, and where will that happen? That, however, still seems unconfirmed. Let's, in the meantime, talk about Pakistan there. Yes, Pakistan now jumping to this opportunity, hosting the second round of talks between US and Iran in Islamabad once again in the coming days. Well, Pakistan seems to be opening its doors once again for another round. The desperation that Pakistan actually wants to project itself as the main negotiator in the case seems to be very clear, because the officials say that the proposal still remains flexible and it could shift if both sides actually opt for a different venue. So Pakistan saying that please choose me here as far as the Islamabad first round of talks that failed. However, RSN Singh sir, good morning. Is this Pakistan's desperation, sir? Because it seems to be jumping at this another opportunity if there is a possibility that the second round of talks actually happen. The first one in Islamabad failed, sir.
Good morning. Good morning to you all. Yes, Pakistan has been painted in a corner. Last time, it must be trying to do some face saving, looking for some face saving gesture, to salvage its image, not only internationally but domestically also. But having said that, it is quite possible that last time around when when the talks went on, were held between Iran and the U.S. representatives, some breakthroughs may have been made, but they could not be be given official status because remember, there is a leadership crisis in Iran. So finally, it has to be sanctioned by top leadership there. Who is in charge in Iran? We don't know. What is the condition of Mr. Mojtaba Khamenei? No one knows. And in between, what has happened is that the dynamics of the conflict has changed. I suppose this move by U.S. to blockade the Iranian ports, this must have put some kind of pressure on Iran. And I've been getting a lot of indications about movement of minesweepers, from the Indo-Pacific region and other regions into Iran, in the vicinity of Iran, and also some bombers have again.
Yes, as far as U.S. warships are concerned, they are in very close proximity to the Iranian coastline. As far as U.S.'s Abraham Lincoln is said to be around just 200 kilometers away. But that seems to be the pressure tactic that U.S. seems to be building on the Iranian side. Thank you very much, Mr. RSN Singh, sir, for your point of view, because despite the first round of, agreement or the talks that ended without any positive agreement, Islamabad maintains that talks are part of an ongoing diplomatic process and not a one-off effort, signaling that there could be a continued momentum towards dialogue. Let's, in the meantime, get you another round of breaking update, because there are sources that indicate that United States and Iran could be headed towards a second round of in-person talks, as both sides are now looking to explore fresh push to end their 6-week conflict before the ceasefire expires. Now, officials say that discussions are underway with some mediators suggesting that both Washington and Tehran may already be open to another round of talks. While Islamabad is again being considered as a potential venue, Geneva has also now emerged as an option. Now, remember, Geneva was the very same place where the talks were happening on the time when US and Israel jointly had launched attacks on Tehran. Let's connect with Rishabh on this. Rishabh, good morning. Pakistan jumping to the line saying, pick me again, because it wants to also give out a positive conclusion to the talks there for a lasting ceasefire. That should be the ultimate focus, you know, not just for Iran, US and Israel, but for the world as well. However, when the next round of talks will happen, where it will happen, that has not been confirmed.
Well, see, who has come forward to mediate? Pakistan for sure, and they have, in a way, could not get any conclusion in the first round of talks that happened over the weekend. And now certain sources in Tehran suggest that there could be a second round this week, maybe on Thursday or rather Friday for that matter. But there is another contender for mediation, and that is Switzerland. Switzerland, remember, for last 40 years have been an indirect contact for United States in Tehran. They have been indirect representatives for US in Tehran since the Islamic regime after the revolution came in, and the 1979, the way US embassy was gheraud, and then the way things unfolded back then. And since then there wasn't any US embassy, and Switzerland was the one who would assist US for all their talks to Tehran. There was no direct communication between the two sides. So Switzerland say that they have had experience to mediate or communicate between US and Tehran, and they could do it, and that's what they have offered their services as well, the services of their good offices. But Pakistan suggests that they do have an edge over anyone else and could mediate further. Remains to be seen whether that happens, because the last time
this is something that has not been denied on part of President Trump also, adding that to the momentum, saying that the US has been approached by the other side and then they are willing to work towards the deal. And this is something which J.D. Vance had also said while departing Islamabad, that we have placed the best possible offer and it is now up to Iran or to else face the consequences. Now, as far as the consequences this has been one of them, that President Trump has announced the naval blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. Now, the blockade on part of the Strait of Hormuz by Iran, which is